Hello again, thanks for joining. So this big old electric locomotive is a DB Class 103, a very iconic German locomotive, and this one is coming from Fleischmann. I do a lot of reviews of Fleischmann stuff, but I do actually like it, and I'm always quite sad that they don't make HO stuff anymore. This one is number 4376 in the Fleischmann catalogue, and it is a second-hand model. I've not had this out the box since I got it, and it was part of a job lot with other things. Anyway, let's get this open and we'll check out and see if there's any damage, try and fix it up, and we'll take a closer look and get it running as well. So as usual, we've got a little leaflet here. It gives you some brief history of this class of locomotive. It mentions about 118-6, which attained a high speed of 253 kilometers an hour. It says the record for German railways. This one isn't numbered that, but it's of that class of locomotive. Inside, we've got some details here. It looks as though we can pick up from overhead electrics like normal, and how to take this apart if we need to, and where to lubricate the model as well. And also on the back it shows about the little stud, I've mentioned this before many times, that operates trackside accessories, and also how to clean your track and keep the model operating correctly. We also have a spare coupling because I think we've got some problems on one end. Looks as though the coupling's come away. Maybe we can fix that back on. But the rest of the locomotive doesn't look as though it's had any damage, which is great. So let's get a closer look at this. So yeah, it does look as though the coupling has actually broken, unfortunately. It's left part of it in here and the other part is broken off. I'm going to have to replace that. The body is actually made of plastic, but it's still quite a heavy model and it's very large as well, so I guess it rattles around in the packaging. But indicative of this particular locomotive, the front cab is quite an interesting shape. It almost looks as though it's an aircraft. Very nicely detailed here. We've got flush fit glazing with silver surround and the windscreen wipers picked out in silver as well. And you can see inside that we do have an interior. There's no driver on this end, but we do have one on the other end. I'll show you that in a minute. So the striping around the front is not too badly done, but it looks as though it's two parts and it just doesn't line up just exactly right underneath the DB logo, which is actually picked out really well in the red there. And we've got a light up here as well and two down here with silver surrounds, which are nicely done. And the number underneath the DB logo is also very clear and crisp. Buffers are separate pieces added in. I think they're made of plastic, and we also have some jumper cables down here on the buffer beam, although there is a big hole here where the coupling should be, which kind of spoils the look a little bit at the front. Looking down the side, the stripe ends here, which is really quite nice, and it has a number 1 for number 1 end. We seem to have a driver in number 2 end for some reason. The door is quite subtle, but it's moulded in, not too bad, and it has the handrails which are picked out with silver paint. Underneath we've got 2 steps coming down, and in the maroon area we have this white stripe that running the whole length of the locomotive. We have some writing here. I can read Siemens, I can't read the one above because it's too small for me. And in the middle we have the DB logo again with the number, and some more transfers down here as well at number 2 end. We also have silver grills the whole length of the locomotive, but some of the cream is showing through this. I don't think that's just with wear and tear, I think that's probably from the factory, so that hasn't been done that well, to be honest. And down at number 1 end it's a very similar setup to the other end, but you can see that we do have a driver figure in there who's fully painted. Looking up top, it's very streamlined, so there's not a lot of detail in the cream, but the silver parts look really good. This centre section's got some really nice details on it. The grills look really good, and the little vents as well. And of course we have all the electrical gear up here. This is metal wire, and it's held in with plastic insulators. And there's other little pieces added on as well. And you can see at this end we've got even more little bits and pieces added in. The pantographs look really cool. They've got these plastic parts here, and they're a bit tough to get up off the little clip there, but once you do, they spring up really nicely. They're all made of metal. This is darkened, and we have a very chrome skid at the top. This one doesn't look as though it's ever been used in overhead pickup, so that's quite good, even though it's a second-hand model. So looking down at the bogies, there's a lot of detail on these. It looks really good. It kind of looks as though maybe these are extra parts that have been added on, but they're not. It's just a one-piece plastic moulding, but that looks really good. The wheels are made of metal with plastic red inserts, but what is not too good is this little bit here. That could have been resoldered on at some point by a previous owner, but it does look pretty scrappy that you can see that there. I probably touched that up with a bit of black paint. So it looks as though the motor is on top of this bogie here, and it drives all axles. We've got traction tyres on all of them, and plastic gear wheels as well. I would suspect it's probably the usual Fleischmann pancake motor inside here. But if we look in the middle, we've got a screw hole there with a simple way of getting this apart. And you can see Fleischmann made in Germany. This tank is nicely detailed, and there's all little pipework. And on the other side, it's just 2 little tanks. And this other bogie at the front here, Again, very detailed. This is just a pickup bogie and it has the stud for the accessories. So let's have a look inside.
One eternity later.
Well, this one's actually foxed me. It does come away a little bit between the cream and the red here, but I just can't get this apart. So hopefully it'll run okay. It's not often that I can't get a model apart, but this one has definitely beaten me today. Anyway, let's put this on the test track and keep our fingers crossed it is going to run okay. Okay, so here we are again on, as normal, the Hornby third radius track. This track is getting a bit old now and a bit dirty, so it's a good test whether this will work or not. I'm using my H&M controller on 12 volts DC, so let's give it some power and see what happens. Well, mercifully it runs absolutely perfect. It's actually quite quiet as well, which is really cool. The lights work too, but it is highly geared. When you give it a bit of power, it really picks up speed. However, that said, just give it a little bit of power and it crawls along quite nicely as well. So it's a very good performer, but I hope nothing ever goes wrong with this because I just can't get it apart. Anyway, let's put this on the scales and we'll see how much it weighs. So this model weighs 497 grams. So Fleischmann's model of the 103 electric locomotive, well, what a beast of a model this is. It's very big and very heavy as well. Even though it's a plastic body, it still comes in at almost half a kilogram. What an amazing locomotive. There's some really nice parts on this. The cab detail is really good. I like the flush fit glazing and the silver surrounds. The printing is actually pretty good on it as well. And there's a lot of nice electrical gear modelled on top as well. It's pretty cool that you can swap this between two rail and overhead. It gives you that flexibility, and it certainly has that jet age kind of looks to it. There are some small niggly things like the silver on the side isn't just quite right. And it has that wire hanging down in the bogie as well, which doesn't look too good. But these things could be easily touched up and fixed on this model. I think the biggest problem for me is that it's not easy to get this apart if you need to oil it in the future, or if you want to change the bulbs to something else. So maybe keep that in mind if you see one of these coming up as damage repairable, because it might be a bit of a problem to get it actually open and repaired. But it's a decent enough model of an iconic electric locomotive from Germany. I quite like this model, but what do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know your thoughts. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps this channel. I'm going to put this on the turntable so you can see all the way around as normal. Thanks for watching this video though. It's been great to check out this model with you, and I'll see you on my next one.
So model trains, model worlds, choo choo, model trains, in tiny worlds, choo choo. So model trains, tiny trains, model worlds, choo choo, model trains, in tiny worlds, choo choo.